Hey guys, this is my first Southern Utah Thunderbirds Dynasty recap. And first of all, week 2, I'm going to do some CPU versus CPU highlights. I want you guys in the comment section to let me know which game you would like me to highlight. Florida, Miami, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Michigan, or Texas at BYU. Let me know in the comments which one you want to see highlights of. Alright, our recap of Southern Utah at New Mexico State from Aggie Memorial Stadium in Las Cruces, New Mexico. The first game in the career of head coach Ed Lamb for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds and the T-Birds. Got it going early with Rayshawn Martin busting a big one down the left side. 26-yard gain set up a chip shot field goal for Connor Cook, and that put the Thunderbirds up 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. The New Mags answered quickly, though. Tyler Rogers sidestepped a blitz and headed down the right sideline for a 40-something yard touchdown, 39-yard touchdown run for Tyler Rogers. New Mexico State was up 7-3. Rogers now, pass to the outside, was picked off by Miles Killebrew, and Miles Killebrew took it to the house. A pick six for the Southern Utah safety. He jumped the route, took it all the way down the left sideline for the score, and that put Southern Utah up 10-7 at the halftime break. First drive of the second half, though. Larry Rose took over, touched the ball on 5 of the first 6 plays from scrimmage. And New Mexico State only threw the ball once on this entire drive, ran it right down Southern Utah's throats, and put it in the end zone to take a 14-10 lead. Southern Utah comes back, though, midway through the third, a screen pass to Fa'atu Ma'ola, 35 yards down inside the 10, and then a pass out on the left side to C.J. Morgan for a 3-yard touchdown, and Southern Utah goes back on top 17-14. Ensuing New Mexico State possession, Southern Utah with an interception. Linebacker Chad Hansen picks it off, setting up this 13-yard touchdown pass over the middle to Norris, and at the end of the third, it's 24-14. New Mexico State answers again, though, on a Larry Rose 3-yard run. It's 24-21 midway through the third when Tyler Rogers hooks up with Tyrion Taylor on this 36-yard touchdown pass. New Mexico State was up 31-24. Final play of the game, the Thunderbirds had a chance to tie it up, but the Hail Mary falls to the ground, and New Mexico State holds on to win 31-24. New Mexico State piled up 433 yards of total offense to our 247. We had 24 carries for 84 yards. The New Mags, 50 carries for 284 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. Our run defense was atrocious. We were 24 of 37 passing for 163 yards. NMSU struggled at first, but got hot late in the game, completing 12 of 26 passes for 149 yards. Third down conversions really hurt us. We were 2 of 12, only 16%. And Tyler Rogers for New Mexico State, 149 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, including the pick 6, and the other one set up another touchdown on a short field for Southern Utah. Only 46% completion percentage, was sacked 4 times. On the ground, Larry Rose, 25 carries for 137 yards. Tyler Rogers, 22 carries for 147 yards. So both of those guys really hurt us on the ground, and we've got to do a better job of stopping the run in this next week against North Texas. Rogers averaged 6.6 yards per carry. He scored 2 touchdowns, had a long of a 40-yard run, and had 3 explosive plays of over 20 yards. Through the air, New Mexico State spread it out a little bit. They didn't get a whole lot of yardage. Tyrion Taylor had the most yardage on just 1 reception, that 36-yard touchdown catch that put New Mexico State in front. Hood had 10 tackles, 3 of them for a loss, 1 sack and 1 interception for the Aggies. Wongwa had a sack as well. And Ibekwe, the guy that we highlighted in our preview, only had 3 tackles, wasn't a huge factor in the game defensively, but was mostly dropped back in coverage. The kicker for New Mexico State went 1 for 3. Davidson made from 23 yards. Tyrion Taylor had 4 kick returns for a 20-something yard average, 21-yard average on punt returns. On to Southern Utah. Aaron Cantu, 24 of 37, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. The interceptions, 2 of them came in the fourth quarter that helped New Mexico State come back and win the game. Rayshon Martin, 11 rushes for 77 yards. He had a 7-yard average. We probably should have given him the ball more in hindsight. Fa'atu Maola, 4 catches for 62 yards. Norris had a touchdown. C.J. Morgan had a touchdown. We really spread the ball around to a lot of receivers. 8 different receivers made catches in the game for Southern Utah. So that is very good, but we probably should have run the ball a little bit more considering our yard per carry average. Zach Browning had 9 tackles on the defensive end. Collette Jr. had 8. Miles Killebrew had 8, including the pick 6. James Cowser had 5, 3 TFLs for him and 1 sack. And McFalls had 4 tackles and 1 TFL with a sack on the day on the defensive side. Connor Cook was 1 of 1 on field goals, a 25-yarder. Brock Miller had 7 punts for a 40.5-yard average. Maola had 4 kick returns for 83 yards. McNabb had a 62-yard return that set up a good field position for Southern Utah. All right, we're going to look at our key players for New Mexico State and how we did against them. The first one is McMeans, the big center. You'll see him under the dot on the left side. He's going to pick up Collette coming up the middle on the blitz with that other O right there. He got a hold of him, and that is what sprung Tyler Rogers for that long touchdown run, the first one of the game. Now you look at him again at the center. He's going to pick up the linebacker here and open up a hole for Rogers on the read option. Now he's going up against McFalls, the defensive tackle for us, and he's just going to push him out of the way for Rogers to go right up the middle. He was New Mexico State's best offensive lineman, and he really dominated the line of scrimmage in a lot of situations. Out here he gets out on a linebacker, allowing Rose to pick up a first down on that one. Tyler Rogers really hurt us on the ground. Not as much through the air, but on the read option, he just burned us all night long. You see more read option, big gains for Tyler Rogers, a 10-yard carry there. Of course, he had the long 40-yard touchdown. Larry Rose had a big game as well. His biggest drive came on the opening drive of the second half, where he pretty much just carried the load and took New Mexico State all the way down the field almost by himself. Touched the ball 5 times of their first 6 plays and just kept breaking off big gains, putting them in position to take the lead here early in the third there. All right, Tyrion Taylor did not affect the game as much as he could have. He did have a couple of good kick returns and punt returns. This was a very nice punt return to put New Mexico State up near midfield. And then, of course, he did catch this one pass that gave New Mexico State the lead. But that was the only reception that he made for New Mexico State. The linebacker, Derek Ebekwe, didn't affect the game a ton. He was back in coverage most of the time. This big 3rd down and 16, you can see him right over the middle of the field. Instead of taking the receiver, he stayed in his zone, stayed in his lane there, and got Cantu to bring up 4th down. Jasavia Reese, the right end for New Mexico State, you're going to see him here. He had a pretty good game against our left tackle there. You see him get to the quarterback, break up the pass. Jacob Nwangwa, his speed affected the game as well. You see him come out the middle on a safety blitz and get the sack. He also picked off a pass late in the game. You'll see him again coming on the blitz. This time he's going to break it off down the line and tackle Brown and stop him near the line of scrimmage. And then he was beat, though, right there over the middle for our only touchdown. Okay, guys, the rest of the games this week we're going to go through quickly. Alabama beat Virginia Tech 17-13. Clemson over Georgia 45-3. Oklahoma over Louisiana Monroe 45-21. Florida State beat Pittsburgh 28-10. Number 5 LSU over number 14 TCU 24-17. Ohio State 31-3 over Buffalo. Number 7 Michigan beat Central Michigan 35-28. At the Big House, Tennessee beat up on an FCS team 34-10. Number 10, Houston, who we will face later in the year, also beat an FCS team 31-7. UCLA over Nevada 45-23. Number 12, Iowa 44 over Northern Illinois 14. Number 13, Louisville over Ohio 45-7. USC on the Islands beat Hawaii 20-17. We will face Hawaii later in the year. Oklahoma State over Mississippi State 20-10. North Carolina over South Carolina 20-6. Boise State over Washington 17-14. Temple with the upset of the week over Notre Dame 17-14. Baylor 42-3 over an FCS team. Number 22, Oregon 33-3 over an FCS team. Ole Miss loses to Vanderbilt actually 41-38 in a minor upset there. Florida 24-6 over Toledo. And that is the scores in the top 25 this week. Players of the week, Kenny Bigelow and Lamar Jackson. Independent players of the week, quarterback Taysom Hill of BYU and Miles Killebrew from Southern Utah with his 8 tackles and an interception was the defensive player of the week for Independence. Of course, there's only 5 schools, so we'll have an opportunity to have players of the week multiple times this season, I would suspect. All right, guys, coming up next will be my preview for the North Texas game. We'll get it out in a day or two at the most and get ready for week number 2 of the college football season.